Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. As y'all know, I come to y'all every week here from 6 to 7 on Wednesdays here on the Blue Stream. And don't forget, this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you have friends or family, think about them, take care of them, because y'all know I've had my mother passed away with breast cancer. So let's not forget those that we love. Also, the Arlington Museum of Art has a new exhibit. Please, please, please get out and see it. And I am going to have the artist here in a couple of weeks, so you can ask her all kind of questions. That's going to be so much fun. And Fishbowl, don't forget, we are having our Sharky Awards on the 19th. And All About STEM Radio, well, frankly, I've been nominated as a female host of the year. So please, please, please go in and vote for me. But hey, I'm all excited about that. But as you know, today I have another wonderful, wonderful guest. His name is Chad Matthews. Okay. His name is Chad Matthews, and he is one of our own homegrown people. He's a TCU, well, homegrown as homegrown can be. He's a TCU graduate, and he is the executive director of the Lone Star Film Festival, which is going to be held next month here in Fort Worth. And I am so excited. Chad, would you tell my audience hello?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Am I connected in? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Chad, tell my audience a little bit about you.
About me.
About you.
All right. Let's see. So, I started my career as a filmmaker.
Hmm.
You're right. I graduated from TCU in the late 90s, moved out to LA to initially pursue acting.
Uh huh.
But while there, of course, between acting gigs, I started writing and producing short films.
Uh huh.
Those films started placing in festivals throughout the
Oh.
United States, and so I got to experience film festivals for really the very first time.
Hmm.
Um, Being a Texas kid, I always wanted to get back to Texas, and I always thought about my hometown. I'm originally from my family's from Fredericksburg, Texas, in the Texas Hill
I was
Country.
just down there this summer. I
Were you?
love that area.
It's so much fun. But at that time, the town itself did not have a film festival. And
Hmm.
I kept asking my parents and people I knew, like, well, why doesn't Fredericksburg have a film fest? And really, after asking that question one too many times, I thought, well, I know enough, a number of filmmakers, I could probably put one on.
Hmm.
So in 2010, I started a film festival in Fredericksburg. That has led to 10 years of festivals in that town, film festivals. And
Wow.
there was an opportunity here in Fort Worth to join the Lone Star Film Festival in 2015.
Hmm.
I always loved my time in Fort Worth. I do consider Fort Worth home. It was just a place I always cherished and loved, but I hadn't been in Fort Worth in 15 years.
Yeah.
So when I was offered this opportunity, I thought, I'm going to take it. I want to come back to Fort Worth and work at the Lone Star Film Festival and see what I can do with this organization. So I've been with them for 4 festivals, so four
Hmm.
years. This will be my 5th year and fifth film festival, and it's been a really just incredible experience.
Okay. Okay. Now you talked about you've worked with festivals before. I know in your bio you talked about Fredericksburg, but you also talked about Austin. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when I moved back to Texas initially,
Hmm.
I did base myself in Austin.
Okay.
It was the closest hub to Fredericksburg, and there was a film scene there.
Oh.
So that was really the reason for that. When I was at TCU in the late 90s, Fort Worth didn't have the film scene, the connection with the arts as much as it does now.
Uh huh.
And so, had I known more about Fort Worth's growth in that aspect, I might have chose to immediately move to Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But it took me going to Austin first before deciding on Fort Worth.
Hmm. Hmm. So Question: is what do you see different from being here back in Texas than you saw from when you were in LA?
Well, number one, I mean, the people are so hospitable. I mean, it's just such a great place to live and work. And I've enjoyed raising a family here.
Yes,
Don't get me wrong, I loved my time in LA.
I know, I
It
know.
was,
I've been to LA. It's nice.
it's great. I mean, the weather is fantastic all the
Yes.
time. Um, I enjoyed the energy of Los Angeles and the
Hmm.
hustle and the fact that everyone's working in the industry and they're trying to pursue their careers, whether they're waiting tables, working at a hotel, they're all writing their screenplays and going on auditions and trying
Yeah.
to make movies, and I love that energy. Um, but at a certain point, after 15 years of running in the hamster wheel, it was
Yeah.
just I was a little tired and I wanted to get back home. So I like the speed of Fort Worth, and I still find enough creative juice here to feel like I'm still part of the industry.
Hmm. People are having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. I've got several messages here. So he's adjusting your mic. That's okay. They're trying to
I'll
hear what
talk
you're saying.
louder.
No, you were speaking in the top, not the side, and that's okay.
Actors.
Oh, stop. Oh, you were an actor?
Oh yeah.
Tell me
That's
about
why.
that just a little bit.
Well,
You
that's
said you went out there, but I was going through your bio and you did writing and screenplays and producing.
yeah. So that initially got me to LA. It
Uh-huh.
was one of those things when you graduate college, you think, well, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, you only live once, right? So let's try the acting work.
Hmm.
And that I mean, as an actor in LA, you're not working consistently, so you've got to do things in the in between those gigs.
Yeah.
And that's when I started producing my own stuff, and that's when I
Okay.
really kind of fell in love with the producing side, the writing side, and
Hmm.
then I realized I don't necessarily have to be an actor. I can do the other side and be just as happy and fulfilled in my creative pursuit with that.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you talk about doing some of the writing, um, how was that getting into the writing and getting people on board to do some of your productions?
It's a challenge. It takes a
Okay.
long time for, if you're talking about just screenwriters,
Hmm.
it's just that repetition, it's that practice, it's that discipline of writing every single day, whether you want to or not. And I struggle with that. I think a lot of writers do.
Hmm.
And if you're not if you're not willing to make that commitment, then maybe writing's not for you. I mean, and
Okay.
it's okay. Like even for me now, because my time limit, because I'm so busy with the film festival, really limits any kind of writing I can do on the side. That I'm just not going to say at this point in my career that hey, I'm writing actively right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm not. I work for Lone Star. That's my day job. That's taking up all my time. But if I was to ever get out of it, I would have to really force myself
Yeah.
to just have that structure and write and write and write when you don't want to write. And it's tough. Um, but then when you do, finally have a breakthrough after your 12th or 15th or 20th script,
Yeah.
and you have something that you feel like is producible
Hmm.
and something that you're willing to share with people and you're proud of it, if you have the passion to produce it, people will understand or feel that energy. And I found when I did produce short films
Yeah.
that it was easy to get people on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you do anything that we could have seen or anything
So,
that?
so my time as an actor was primarily in the indie film world. So it was very small, obscure kind of
Hmm.
movies. And then I did commercial work. So that was kind of if I ever had a big gig, it was usually a television commercial. But no, I mean, a few TV spots here and there,
Yeah.
a soap opera every once in a while, but nothing that ever got me out of a day job. I mean,
Okay.
honestly, I always was working at hotels throughout my
Okay.
entire time in LA. I mean,
Mhm.
you have to eat, right?
Yeah, you have to eat, and everybody's got to work.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to work. Before I get into the festival too much, I want to talk a little bit about what you did this summer with the camp.
Yes.
So because you're doing all of this, you're producing, you're writing, but you're bringing young people into this world also. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the Lone Star Film Festival is actually produced by the Lone Star Film Society.
Okay.
We're a 501c3
Oh,
nonprofit, and our ultimate goal is to be able to bring filmmaking to Fort Worth and encourage the next generation of filmmakers.
uh-huh.
We do that through our educational programs. The film camps that we did this summer was our way to give back to the community. So we did 3 separate film camps. One focused on kids that are looking at higher education opportunities
Okay.
in filmmaking. The other was working with the Boys and Girls Club with kids that are from maybe disadvantaged
Yeah.
areas. And the third was specifically for female filmmakers, and that was with the National Cowgirl Museum.
I
Uh,
didn't know that. Aaron
yeah,
didn't tell me that. And I just went to the Cowgirl Museum last month because I never even realized it was there because
it's
I'm
incredible.
I know.
I know. I can't wait to take my my daughter. She's only 3, but she
Hmm.
gets a little bit older. I think it's going to be a really special place to take her.
Yeah.
It's
It's beautiful in there.
it is. If you haven't, yeah, you've got to go check it out if you haven't been there. Um, so yeah, we do these film camps, and it is intensive. I mean, we break down the mechanics of making a movie with the kids.
Okay.
We kind of give them an opportunity to write their own script, and we
Hmm.
help them along. So their goal is to make a short film. When we get through the scripting part of it, we go into auditions for the kids that want to do some acting, on camera acting.
Hmm.
Then we kind of divvy out the jobs. So we've got, our directors, our DPs, our sound people, and then we shoot their movie. We take about 2 days to make their little film. And then we finish up the camp by editing their picture. And then the best
Really?
part about it is that we can screen these movies at the film festival in November. So the kids get to see their product on the big screen in downtown Fort Worth at the AMC, which is a really cool thing. I mean, even very veteran filmmakers, get chills when they get to see their movie up on a humongous film screen at the AMC. So we really enjoy those camps. I
Hmm.
mean, it is the heart and soul of our organization, and we really hope to grow that part of the Film Society.
Now, you said you ran 3 sessions. How long were the sessions?
The Boys and Girls camp was 2 weeks.
Okay.
The advanced film camp was 1 week, and the Cowgirl Museum was a half a week. So
Okay.
it
Okay.
just depends on our partners and
Hmm.
what they kind of need and would like to be able to help us out with.
Okay.
An example of that was, with the Boys and Girls Club, we were able to take the kids over to TCU and to shoot on their soundstage on
Really?
campus, which is a great, thrill for a lot of kids. I mean, they have a really great little facility there, and being able to shoot on a soundstage is pretty remarkable. I mean, not many independent filmmakers get that opportunity. So that was just a nice partnership that we were able to work out between both organizations, and it makes it a little bit, more special.
Yeah. And not many schools have something like that that kids can actually get onto and make their own film, do their writing, and getting involved. So you got to think about it. What are they going to do when they graduate, or just giving them that exposure that they wouldn't have got anywhere else?
Certainly. I mean, the beautiful thing about film is that sure you can pursue higher education
Oh
and
yeah.
go to USC or NYU and pursue film, but if that is not a avenue for you, you could immediately start in the workforce at a high school working in film. There's a lot of like lower level entry
Yep.
jobs that kids can have access to here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So we want to just open their eyes and let them
Yeah.
say, hey, this is an opportunity. You can work in this field if you want to.
Okay. Are you gonna do the camp again this summer?
Oh yeah, yeah. In 2020,
Yeah,
yes, we
2020.
are.
I'm gonna have to come out and see it
Oh
because
please.
Aaron would talk about it, and then I'm like, okay. He would say things that the kids got to do, but some days he had to go out on shoots that he was working on, but he enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's one aspect that I did not know I was capable of doing. So when I started working film festivals, I never thought I'd want to be on the education side
Yep.
of filmmaking, and I was a little nervous about it because I thought, I'm not going to work with these high school kids. Is this going to be? I just felt like I was going to get, I don't know, devoured by them. And it's become such a rewarding part of my job to be
Yeah.
able to see them grow, and just experience something really new and fascinating for them. It's been incredible. So I've gotten a lot out of it.
Well, you'll be so surprised at how much they absorb, and this is something new for a lot of them because I can't think of very many schools in the district that have anything like media production here. Um, so this is the opportunity that they wouldn't have gotten to have.
I mean, there are a few that have some AV programs, and they're, let me tell you this. I mean, they're way more advanced than when I was in school.
Oh
So, I
yeah,
mean, they have their fingers on the technology, and
they
especially the
do.
kids that are coming to our more advanced camp, they're already making movies.
Oh
So
yeah.
they're way ahead of the game. And we just want to be able to show them, well, this is how you do it professionally and how to better your
Hmm.
craft, and see what they do after they get a little taste of it. It's
Yeah.
really cool to be able to see those kids too after they leave the camp.
Hmm.
They form these friendships, and then they go make additional movies. So that's really cool too.
That is so nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I have Mr. Craig Matthews here with us, the executive director of the Lone Star Film Festival here in Fort Worth. And we are talking about, his background. We've talked about his film camp that he had this summer. And I want to see, let me see who's looking at us. Hey, Demi. Hey, Mickey. Brandon, oh, you better be doing good in college, Brandon, since you're up there in Oklahoma now. And Stephanie and Crystal and Ken, I think. So we've got some great people listening to us. But I know I'm changing avenues again, but that's what we do here in the South. Um, you've got the festival coming up. Well, before I go into the festival, if you have the camp again this summer, what should people look for as far as announcements? How do they contact you to find out when the camps are, and so on and so forth?
I mean, it's really best just to follow us through our website or any of
Okay.
our social media
And
channels.
what's the website?
The website's LoneStarFilmFestival.com.
Okay.
And if you were to sign up, say, for our newsletter,
Hmm.
we push out information as we get it. So by the beginning of 2020, we should be able to have dates defined and
Okay.
what those camps are going to be. So I would just look for that in the new year.
Hmm. Okay. So I'm so happy you're going to have that again because, like I said, it had to be just phenomenal for the kids to be involved. But now I want to talk about the film festival because I know Aaron has been watching a lot of films. So tell us about that. How did you get involved? When is it? Where is it? I've got a whole plethora of things I want to know about.
Sure, yeah. Well, again, my background with having formed the Hill Country Film Festival in 2010 really gave me a good background of film programming.
Uh huh.
So with Lone Star, um, the the amount of work is just intensified because it's
Hmm.
such a bigger festival. We've got submissions from all over the world,
Yeah.
and it's feature films and short films, and it just takes a team of people to really watch all the
Hmm.
content.
Hmm.
And we start receiving submissions this past January, and
Oh.
we really just wrapped up. We announced our films in September 25th. So it's just been a long process where you're right. I mean, Aaron was having to watch 1,000 movies. I mean, he just nonstop watched movies. And we have a rating process. So the films that are watched they're all watched and rated.
Hmm.
And we just start going through an elimination process of making sure that films that are tracking with high scores are just continually in the mix. And then eventually, at some point, you just have to figure out your program of what you want to play. I tell filmmakers all the time that just because your film maybe did not get into the film festival, it doesn't mean it's not a good film.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just it's timing. If it doesn't fit into the amount of programming time that we have available,
Hmm.
or if it's similar to another film that we already have programmed,
Hmm.
that happens a lot where you have this um, I don't know, it's a clown zombie movie, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, we've got another one that's really good too, but you're just having to say, we're gonna go with this one, and we're not gonna do two of the same.
Yep.
Um, so it's just trying to figure out how to make a diverse lineup where
Yeah.
you can touch everybody. You know, if
Mhm.
you go to the Lone Star Film Festival and you really want to find a documentary that focuses on LGBTQ issues,
Yeah.
we can provide that for you. So,
Mhm.
we want to have everything. We want to have westerns and dramas and horror movies and, funny comedies.
Mhm.
Um, and it just takes a while. So it just takes a while to see what you've got ahead of you, the highest scoring films, and then handpicking which ones will play in the film festival. It's a fun process. It's an exhausting
I can
process,
imagine.
but it's when you do announce that lineup and you start watching movies at the festival, it's really fun and rewarding. And again, there's something for everyone. And what's even more enjoyable is that people that sometimes go to the festival will just take a chance on something,
Mhm.
and they usually will come out saying, that was incredible. I would have never gone and seen this on my own. I just thought, well, it's playing, so I'm going to go check it out. And I've had some really great experiences going to film festivals and just kind of blindly going into a screening and be like, well, I'm going to go check out this film. I really know nothing about it. I know the title. And you can experience something really cool. So
Yeah.
that's the best part about a fest.
I have a question. Um, if someone had a film that they've done and they want to submit it, how do they start submitting these, and who do they send them to, and so on and so forth?
So if you're a filmmaker and you have a completed product,
Uh
a
huh.
short film, say, um, you typically need to go to a a middle company that will be able to help you in the submission process.
Oh, okay.
So the national or industry standard right now is a company called Film Freeway.
Mm.
It's free for you to join Film Freeway. It's where you would put your basic information, your log line, your synopsis, your trailer, your film itself, photos. It kind of is your press kit package.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, you have the ability to look through the database of all the film festivals throughout the world.
Hmm.
And you could, say, hey, I'd like to submit to Lone Star, and I'd like to submit to Austin. I want to submit to Sundance. And you could pick as many film festivals that are open for submissions at this time.
Uh huh.
And one at a time or all in a bulk, you can submit your film to those festivals. There is a fee to submit to festivals.
Okay.
Um, if you get early bird specials, if you submit early to a festival,
Hmm.
of course it's cheaper, but the closer you get to a festival's deadline is when it gets a little bit more expensive.
Hmm.
And you just have to kind of pick and choose where you want to submit to. So as a filmmaker, I've always tried to go to some of the big industry festivals, and then
Yeah.
if that doesn't work out, then pick my my regional or medium-sized film festivals.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that would be a Lone Star, a Dallas, Palm Springs, something like that, that
Hmm.
you might have a better chance of getting into.
Okay.
And once those films are submitted, then on our end, we are part of that database as well. So we're getting to see, they catalog all the films for us. So if we had 1,000
Oh,
films
okay.
submitted through Film Freeway, it is a database that we can all navigate, all of our programmers,
Hmm.
and we can rate the films through their platform. So it's incredible because you're all being able to do this through computers. And in the old days, it was you would have to actually mail in a DVD, and we would watch it, and then have to mail it to a friend or show someone
Yeah.
else, and then handwrite what you thought about the film. It's so much more manageable now, and
Technology has changed
it
everything.
has changed everything, and that is pretty much the process. Um, so I mean, if you have a film, there's a festival out there for it because
Hmm.
there's 5,000 film festivals. Again, I always encourage people to not get discouraged when they
Okay.
get those rejections, those the first few festivals. I mean, I've submitted films that have been rejected entirely, like the entire time I submitted, and then you have one where you actually get some traction and you can play a few festivals, and
Hmm.
you just never know. You never know.
Now, about how many submissions did y'all get this year?
We track around 1,000 submissions a year.
A
So
thousand?
1,000.
Oh my
Some
goodness.
years it's a little over that, and other years it's a little under. But that is our kind of our yearly average.
How long has this festival been going on?
This will be our 13th year.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard about it, but I didn't know it had been going on that long.
yeah,
That is so cool.
yes.
But I mean, you kind of given my audience um, a little bit of feedback by if you don't get accepted by one, just keep submitting and keep submitting. But you were saying that this clearinghouse, it kind of categorizes things for you. What are some of the categories that we should see at the film festival this year?
At our festival, sure.
Yes.
So we will have a competition category for narrative feature films
Okay.
and documentary feature films.
Mm-hmm.
We also will have a specific grouping called Cinemas, which is going to be for Spanish language films.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
and then we have subcategories that maybe aren't on the website, but that we will group together certain short films that have similar themes or tones. So, example of that would be an LGBTQ short film block.
Mm-hmm.
We will categorize a completely documentary short film block as well. You know, we will
Okay.
find a family-friendly grouping of short films to be able to play on a Saturday morning that
Mm-hmm.
you could bring your kids to. So, although we have certain categories that are quote unquote in competition
Yes.
that are eligible for awards, we do some subcategories that just give our viewers the opportunity to say, you know, I'm really into docs today. I want to go see some documentaries. Well, here you go. There's a documentary block of short films at 3 o'clock, you know,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Okay. Now, where will people go to see these films?
So the screenings will take place at 2 locations downtown. The majority of films will be at the AMC Palace 9 Theater, which is on 3rd Street.
Okay.
And that's the major movie house downtown. But a few blocks down, there's the Central Public Library has a really good auditorium.
Oh,
Well, we
really?
will be screening movies there as well.
Okay.
When we get the schedule out, and we hope to have that within the next week,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to check the website
Mm-hmm.
or our mobile app whenever that opens up too, you can really kind of pick and choose your festival days. If if you say, hey, I've got a Friday off, I'm going to go see this movie at 10 and 3, and then maybe the evening film or something. So there's movies going on simultaneous throughout the entire 5 days. So you'll have to kind of navigate where you want to go and what you want to see.
Okay.
It's not just everyone's watching one film and then the next film happens and everyone watches that film. There's usually 3 films happening at one time.
Oh. Now we're talking about the festival, but I haven't said you haven't said when it is.
Yes.
We've talked about where it was, but what are the dates? I'm
So
sorry.
the Lone Star Film Festival opens November 13th. That's a
Okay.
Wednesday. We run 5 days, so we will conclude on Sunday the 17th. Will be our last screening. But throughout the festival, apart from the movies, we will have panel discussions. So filmmakers will talk about their process and what they do to make their movies. We will have some evening parties. So there will be a social aspect to the festival where you can meet filmmakers or talk shop with somebody over a drink at a restaurant or bar. And we will also have an awards presentation. So the filmmakers that are in attendance, and even the ones that are not, I mean, the filmmakers that have films in competition have the opportunity to win awards. Every film is judged. We have a grouping of programmers that are going to select some winners.
Yes.
But then the audience also has the opportunity to pick their favorite film. And this is the Audience Choice Award. So when you go into a screening, if that film is eligible for the Audience Choice Award, you have the ability to rate that film and say, we the audience want this film to be the audience choice for 2019. Sometimes, I mean, we have some high level awards, but sometimes the audience award is like just the choice award because you're like, the audience picked us. I mean, it's just the coolest thing to be able to say, like, I had a film in Florida a long time ago, 10 years ago,
Yes.
that won the audience award. And it was one of those things where like, I can't believe that out of all the movies that screened, the audience rated this one, that they wanted our little film.
It
And
wasn't a little film. It was
well,
probably something big to you. So
the award and being able to receive that was super big for us.
I know.
But it was just one of those things where, you live with that forever. You're going, wow, that was really a cool accomplishment. So I love that award. I think it's really the most diplomatic award that we provide, because it's the audience members who are actually rating the films for that award.
Now, people who have their films shown at the festival, are they normally there at the festival, or
we do get a pretty good amount of filmmakers attending the festival.
Yes.
Of course, people have lives and work, and not everyone can attend, but a pretty good percentage actually do attend. And what's been really remarkable about Lone Star is that we will get international travelers. Like we've had folks from Australia, from Russia, from the UK, Italy, of course, the United States, and that's always fun to discover and find out. You can try to track and see how many, who's all coming, but until they show up the day of the festival, you never really know. I think it was 2 years ago, we had a filmmaker who was from Russia, and this was his first time to the United States, and he came to Fort Worth, and we were just like, wow, that is so cool. It was just one of those things where you're like, he came because he got his film in the film festival, but he's making an effort to have his first American experience in a town that we love, but you'd never think like, oh, I'm going to go to the United States for the first time, I'm going to pick Fort Worth, So it was just, it was really cool.
When you think of film, you think of like LA or
New York. Sure.
You don't think of Texas.
No. But see, that was just it. He was a filmmaker that probably received maybe some rejections from some of the majors. So he's looking at his alternatives, and you pick Dallas Fort Worth because it's a big metro market. You still can get a lot out of having a screening in an area with this big of a population. And so when we screened it, it was his opportunity to really find an audience and be able to share his work with folks he probably never thought would ever see his film.
That is so cool. That is cool. I mean, what you got to think about is, I'm sitting here thinking and listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm thinking this is something local, people from Texas showing their films, probably a few people from just outside of Texas. I did not know this was so global.
It's a combination of both.
Yeah.
So we certainly want to have local filmmakers and Texas films, because it's important to give back. I mean, they're making their movies here, right? So we want to be able to showcase their talents and what they're producing.
Yeah.
But it's an international film festival in the sense that, again, we're getting submissions from all over the world, and why not screen these incredible movies that are just from fascinating places? I mean, the challenge that we have as a film festival is that some people really, they are scared off by the idea of like, I'm gonna have to read some subtitles. And I can tell you that if you go into a really good film and it has subtitles, you will forget that you're reading within a few minutes. You'll just be so into the story that afterwards you're like, I speak Italian because I just watched this movie in Italian and I didn't even know I was reading it. I was just, so into it that we want to, let people be able to experience something that they maybe would not have taken a chance on if they were just watching Netflix. We want them to go check out something that's going to challenge them. And I think they'll walk away with a really good appreciation for what all of these filmmakers are doing from all over the world. And then we're doing our job.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they come and they have to read subtitles now, they'll know how I feel like when I used to go to Amsterdam and go to the movies, because all the U.S. films were in a different language with American subtitles.
Yep.
Okay. But, it was okay. It was okay. But, this is so exciting. So, I mean, this is the 13th year. This is how many years for you?
This will be my fifth.
This will be your fifth.
Yeah.
What I don't know if there's been a film or an event. What has had like a big impact on you? What did you see that you got an aha moment, or you just thought was like, wow, this is amazing?
There's a lot of small things that I really appreciate
Uh
in
huh.
terms of an aha moment. So my first year at the festival, I was able we do honor some celebrities for a
Yes.
gala event. The festival itself is kind of a fundraiser for our film programs
Yes.
throughout the year.
Okay.
Bill Paxton was in Fort Worth
Really?
to attend the festival,
Uh huh.
and he was one of the original founders of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had an opportunity to meet him, and I thought, well, I just had no impression of him as a person, and thought he's probably going to not be the nicest person. He's a movie star, right? And he was the nicest, most genuine, authentic person. He was so kind, and just, I mean, we didn't even talk movies really. We just talked about Fort Worth and him growing up in Fort Worth. And I just remember walking
Wait a
out
minute, he's from Fort
thinking,
Worth.
he's from Fort
I
Worth.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Y'all, Bill Paxton's from here. He's from home.
He's from
Okay.
home. But I was really fortunate because he passed away a year later.
Oh wow.
And so it's one of those things where you're just like, I really cherish that opportunity to meet him. And, I hope that I'm able to, continue his legacy with the film festival. I mean, it was part of his, uh, it was his baby. I mean, he was one of the founders of the Lone Star Film Festival, and I just want to be able to keep that legacy going.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, we Texas has a lot of um, professional actors and actresses that have come through the state of Texas, who were born here, who were raised here. We started, well, not started. We've been doing it for a long time, having big productions that come out of the state of Texas. And so just to hear that people are coming back and giving back and doing wonderful things, um, just, warms my heart and makes me feel like, yes, everybody doesn't have to go to LA to do film.
Yeah.
Because trust me, people have tried to convince Aaron to go to LA, and like, if you want to go, go. You're young. You're
Yeah.
young. You don't have any kids. You don't have a wife. You know, go and enjoy your life. And he's like, no, mom, I'm here and I'm really busy. And I'm like, okay, it's up to
Yeah.
you.
You got to go at your own time, and
Yeah.
when you're ready to do it. And you're right that because of the digital technology and the change in the access to filmmaking,
Yes.
it's not as imperative to leave school and go straight to LA or New York like it was when I graduated. I mean, there was no real opportunity here, so you
Yeah.
absolutely had to move to LA.
Mhm.
Now you don't have to, and that's nice. That definitely makes for a easier or pleasant life.
Yeah.
But if you are an artist and you want to try it, Los Angeles, I mean, I
Yeah.
highly recommend it. I mean, it was a great time. You learn so much, and you get to really meet some fascinating people, and Los Angeles is a fun place to go.
Yeah, he went out and played a gig not too long ago out there,
Hmm.
and he was like, "Mom, it's totally different."
It's totally different.
I'm like, "I know, I've been there a few times. It's totally different." But give my audience a little bit of what should they expect, or what will they experience if they attend the film festival this year.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee that you're going to experience some incredible movies.
Mm-hmm.
And really, one of the best parts about going to a film festival is hearing the filmmakers talk about their projects. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
stories behind the stories that I almost enjoy more than the movies sometimes, because getting to hear what a filmmaker goes through, the blood, sweat, and tears to make this film that it's their baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes never goes beyond film festivals. It's not all of these films will find distribution. They will not all go to Netflix or HBO. Sometimes their run through some film festivals is all of the exposure that they're really going to get. So being able to hear what these filmmakers go through is a fascinating education.
it really was my extended education after I graduated college.
Yeah.
You know, when I needed to learn more about writing or the physicality of making a movie, going to a film festival and taking in a panel discussion or hearing a Q&A after a screening was one of those take a note opportunities where like, oh, this is how they did that. Okay, I'm gonna do that too. So you'll learn a lot. You'll be entertained. You'll have the ability to learn a lot about filmmaking.
Mhm.
And then if you are a filmmaker, you have incredible networking opportunities because again, the film festival is a social, there's a social aspect to it. And what's really cool about Lone Star, and it probably has to do with Fort Worth and the laid back vibe of this region of Texas, is
Yes.
that filmmakers definitely let down their guard, and they have genuine, authentic conversations with everyone that's there. There's no, you know, we put up guards when we're at Sundance or
Yes.
we're at
Yes.
in Los Angeles and we're having to, you know, go through just the amount of people that are in your face, and you're just having to deal
Yeah.
with that process of like, who do I trust? Who am I going to talk to? At Lone Star, everyone just kind of relaxes. They, you know, will sit down and have a conversation. And I just think it's a great place that is refreshing for a filmmaker,
Yeah.
and then energizing for a moviegoer or a filmmaker
Mhm.
who's, you know, aspiring to make a movie. You will come out of a film festival experience like this, um, not only entertained but inspired to make your movie if you're, you know, pursuing that dream of making films. And then if you're not a filmmaker, you'll still, I think, have a greater appreciation for what these artists are going through.
Yeah.
You might not just say the next time you watch a movie, oh, that's just terrible, I hate that film. You might take that back and be like, this might not be my cup of tea, but I know what they go through to make that, and how hard it is, and how much of a challenge it is, and how much money they invested in that. Again, it might not be for me, but you know, I can appreciate what they are going through as artists. Um, so, I mean, that's a cool thing about it. It's like some of the films that we will program really aren't films that I particularly like or enjoy,
Yeah.
or maybe I didn't score really high, but I see their value and their need. And just because I don't like something doesn't mean someone else can't
Yeah.
like it. So we want to be able to share all different aspects of the movies. We want to hear everyone's story, how they made their masterpiece. And
Mhm.
then again, when folks walk away, if we can inspire someone to make a movie, then again, we're doing our job.
Yeah, because everyone has their passion project.
Yeah.
So it's just to be able to see them, and to take something from them, or just to try something different,
Yep.
something you may not ever see on Netflix or on television or in a lot of other venues. You get a chance to actually see that.
Yeah.
Now, the festival itself, I know this is a huge thing, right? And I know you need help, volunteers, sponsors. Do you want to give a shout out to any of those people, or tell them the festival's coming up? Do you still have some needs or concerns? Do you need, what do they call those people that show people around the theaters and stuff like that?
Yeah, volunteers and
Yeah,
ushers. Yeah,
ushers.
yeah,
Yeah,
certainly. So with an event this big, you have to have a workforce of people that are
yeah.
volunteering their time to help really run operations. And so,
Mhm.
yes, if you were to go to our website, there is, I know, a tab that says something about, you know, helping or volunteer with the film festival. And if you were to volunteer, you do have access to all of the festival itself. So
Mhm.
I don't know what the actual requirements are, but it's
Yeah.
like if you work 2 shifts, you still get an all access badge. You can still go see movies after you're
Oh,
done with your job. Yeah. So it's a pretty great gig. I mean, it's yeah, you're gonna have to work 2 shifts, but then when you're finished, you have access like a paying customer. You can go see some movies, and I think that's really great for especially college students.
yes.
For, you know, if someone's retired and has, you know, some time on their hands
Yep.
and want to help out that way as well. So yes, volunteers are extremely helpful. Um, if maybe you're a person with some means and you wanted to donate to the film festival, that
Mhm.
we do have a larger gala that takes place on Thursday during the
Yes.
festival. We will honor some celebrities. It will be a splashy event, but
Mhm.
all of that does fund our education
Yes.
programming
Yes.
for 2020. And you don't have to attend to support the festival. I
Yeah.
mean, you can help out in every way possible, through financial, or if you were, gifting. So it's really just contacting the festival through our website, or through me.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. This just sounds like it's going to be an awesome, awesome event. Um, Now, tell the audience again, when is it? Where is it? And I have another huge question. Like during the day, the 13th through the 17th, or when the movies are being shown, about what time frame is it, like from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, or how's that going to play out?
Yeah. So again, the festival opens Wednesday, November the 13th.
Uh-huh.
That will be more of a half day. So we'll probably
Okay.
start around noon with screenings. The screenings will take place at the AMC Palace 9 in downtown Fort Worth,
Okay.
and also at the Central Library. They're on the same road. They're just a few blocks down the street
Okay,
from
so
each
they
other.
can walk from one to another.
It's a walkable film festival. We will have operations and kind of headquarter out of the Aloft Hotel, which is on 3rd Street as well.
Okay.
So that's where you would pick up if you were to buy an all access badge, you would pick up your badge there. That's where our film talks will be, where we have panel discussions with
Okay.
filmmakers. That will also be where some of the social parties will be. So like
Okay.
happy hours at 4 o'clock will be at the Aloft Hotel.
Okay.
But then if you go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, screenings will typically start around 10 a.m., between 10 and 11, just depending on the venue. And they wrap up roughly at midnight. I mean, so we will have screens that will
Okay.
start as late as 10 o'clock at night, and they will, conclude around midnight or a little after. But throughout those screenings, there's also, again, film talks, which are panel discussions over at the Aloft Hotel. There's going to be happy hours at that hotel. There'll be evening parties at different locations, all within walking distance of downtown Fort Worth. And if you're not familiar with downtown Fort Worth, it's a very accessible downtown.
Yes, it
There's
is.
a good amount of parking. So we always recommend, especially our out of town guests, if you get downtown, you park your car and you just walk the entire weekend. You don't ever have to get back in your car. And that's really an attractive quality about Lone Star. It's that, you go to some of the bigger festivals and you're having to go from, downtown to uptown, you're having to travel a lot.
Yes.
Not with us. I mean, we really do kind of keep it as concentrated as possible. And that makes it a lot of fun too, because let's face it, you're not gonna be able to watch movies from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. You're gonna take some breaks, right?
So eat, you want to see.
You want to eat. So downtown's got some shopping. There's restaurants. You can take a breather and then go back and watch some more movies. And it's a fun weekend in downtown Fort Worth and Sundance Square in that area, that district of Fort Worth.
So let me back up just a little bit because we've got like 2 minutes. I know this seems like this hour has gone by so fast. Hey, Georgia Day, I see that you're listening. To get a all access pass, you would go to the Loft Hotel. Or can they do anything online to get passes or tickets to any of the movies?
Yes. So right now you can buy an all access badge online.
Yeah. Okay.
You would pick that badge up at the Aloft Hotel.
Okay, I understand.
But we are going to open up day passes as well. So if you I can only do Saturday, well, you have an opportunity to just do screenings on Saturday, and then we will have individual tickets for every individual screening when we announce those screenings within a week. So again, you could be very selective and say, hey, I just want to go to one film at the film festival. You can do that. Or if you want to take it all in and be a part of every aspect of the film festival, that's where you would, want to maybe invest in the all access badge. And that gives you, access to all the screenings, all the panel discussions, all the parties.
Okay. And what's the website again that they
It's LoneStarFilmFestival.com.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been like a great, great show. I'm still learning and finding things about all these things that go along in the city that I grew up in, but that's okay. I'm still going to find more and more and more as long as I do this show. But Chad, I want to thank you for coming, and hopefully this will not be your last time. because I know you're going to have some more wonderful things coming up. When you put out for your summer camp, please let me know so I can make sure I can post that if you'd like for me to do that.
That would be my pleasure. Yeah, I'd love to
And
come back.
and take care of our festival, take care of your family, and until next time, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is again the end of the All About STEM radio show. And don't forget, next week is going to be another wonderful show. And I come to you every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. here in the Blue Stream. Bye bye.
Are you looking for the hottest music, topics, and trends? Then you've come to the